Hello, you absolutely amazing person, you. It's a beautiful Sunday in my world, but I have a really busy week coming up. So I'm actually going to be filming videos ahead of time this week to make sure you get quality content and I'm not running around like a person who is overwhelmed, which I could so easily become. I'm not complaining, mind you. This week reminds me of the importance of my work, the magnitude of my work, and just I feel so much gratitude for the important work I get to be part of. This week, I'm working with NAN, which is Anishinaabe Aski Nation, one of the treaty organizations that looks after the most northern remote communities in Ontario. And first, I'm going to be emceeing the 2S LGBTQIAP plus event, which I mean is literally life and death for so many. To hear the stories, to hear the challenges of kids, teenagers not being accepted, being bullied, it's horrific. And then I'm also doing another event for NAN, which is GBV, gender based violence. And I'll be working with all the councils, whether it's the Women's Council, the Elders Council, the Youth Council, to get some insight and input on that important work. So it's a heavy week, but I wanted to start this week off because on my channel, I do reconciliation work. And often I'm sharing how things look through Indigenous eyes. And every now and then I share some part of my culture just to help mainstream understand that way back when the original settlers decided that Indigenous culture had nothing to offer, how far from the truth that was. And in the spirit of unpacking and decolonizing for Indigenous and Anishinaabe like me to once again embrace these teachings is just something that fills me with so much joy. So, what I'm going after today to start the week off is the calendar. Rather than the 12-month calendar, I'm talking about the 13 grandmother moons. And the month doesn't, it's not months that change on the first, it's actually in line with the new moon. So again, this just highlights how Indigenous culture was part of the universe, not doing it on its own or trying to govern what it could not govern. So today, let's talk about the 13 grandmother moons. Let's talk about it. Bonjour. Mishko Poganong, Kwe Nadishnakas Mungdodam. Hi everyone. My name is Sandy Boucher. I'm Red Thunderbolt Woman of the Loon Clan, a proud member of Seine River First Nation in Treaty 3 territory in Northern Ontario. And as I mentioned in the opening, I just wanted to share with you the 13 grandmother moons, or the traditional calendar followed by the Anishinaabe. And it, as I mentioned, it's in line with the new moon, the phases of the moon, rather than some arbitrary date on a calendar. And each phase is not only in line with what's going on in nature, but what is needed to be a healthy, thriving being. So the first moon in 2025, the first of the grandmother moons, is actually on December 31st. So again, we can see it's not going to align with the European calendar. The first moon of creation is Spirit Moon. Listen to this. The first moon of creation is Spirit Moon, and it is manifested through the Northern Lights. It is a time to honor the silence and realize our place within all of the great mysteries creatures. That so resonates with my teachings because I was always taught that the summer seasons, that time of year, was the going out phase, that you should go out, you should explore, you should go to new places, meet new people, whereas the cold winter months are the going inside. This is where you ask yourself how you're doing. You do your self reflection, your self awareness, your healing. You decide what you're keeping from the year that's just ending and what you're going to set down now that you don't need for the rest of your journey. So it's a beautiful time of sitting around the fire with your intimate family and just sharing. It's storytelling time as opposed to experiencing it in the summer. Now you share your stories. So that's the first moon, the spirit moon. The second new moon of 2025 occurs on January 29th, and it is called the bear moon. The second moon of creation is bear moon, when we honor the vision quest that it began in the fall. During this time, we discover how to see beyond reality and to communicate through energy rather than sound. So that's, again, that internal work, that picking up on your vibes, the vibes you're putting out there, the vibes of other people. Have you ever met the people that you just instantly connect with? That's because your vibes, your frequencies are similar. And then the nails on the chalkboard people. And it's not about judging those people. I always just look at it as that's Creator telling me this is not someone I need to know on this stage of my journey right now. It's not because they're a bad person. It's just not a puzzle piece in my puzzle. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. The third moon in 2025, the third new moon, is on February 28th, and it's the sugar moon. As the maple sap begins to run, we learn of one of the main medicines given to the Anishinaabe, which balances our blood and heals us. During this time, we are encouraged to balance our lives as we would our blood sugar levels by using divine law. Now, there's a call to the Anishinaabe, and I would say to everyone, take care of you. Take care of you. Balance your lives, and yes, that blood sugar. On March 29th is the fourth of the grandmother moons, and that's the sucker moon. The fourth moon of creation is sucker moon, when sucker comes to the spirit world in order to receive cleansing techniques from this world. When it returns to this realm, it purifies a path for the spirits and cleanses all our water beings. During this time, we can learn to become healed healers. You cannot help others till you help yourself. You can't help them to heal until you heal. All of these times, these cooler temperature times, time for you to grow and learn and heal. The fifth moon, the fifth grandmother moon, is April 27th, the flower moon. The fifth moon of creation is flower moon, where all plants display their spirit sides for all the world to see. This life-giving energy is one of the most powerful healing medicines on Mother Earth. During this moon, we are encouraged to explore our spiritual essences. Did you catch that phrase? Where all plants display their spirit sides for all the world to see. You know what came to my mind? How often do you share your spirit side? Your real self, not the less than, not the who the world turned you into, that beautiful, caring, loving soul you were born as. How often do you show the world that? Or has fear robbed you of that practice? Get back to that practice. The sixth grandmother moon arrives on May 27th, and that's the strawberry moon. The medicine of the strawberry is reconciliation. It was during this moon cycle that communities usually held their annual feasts, welcoming everyone home, regardless of their differences over the past year, letting go of judgment and self righteousness. And of course, for the Anishinaabe, powwow season is underway now as we travel to communities to see our loved ones, to dance, to celebrate, to sit with elders, and to welcome the new ones to the circle. It's most definitely one of my favorite times. The seventh grandmother moon arrives on June 25th, and this is the raspberry moon. The seventh moon of creation is raspberry moon when great changes begin. By learning gentleness and kindness, we may pass through the thorns of its bush and harvest its fruit, knowledge that will help in raising our families. If you've ever been raspberry picking, all of that made sense. You choose careful, but you know what? You have to be so careful picking them so the thorns don't get you, but then you cherish the fruit more. You have to carefully pick it. You can't just grab it and mangle it. Boy, wouldn't it be nice if we treated each other like raspberries? No matter what the thorns of life happen to be. Makes sense to me. The eighth moon arrives on July 24th, the new moon, and it's the thimbleberry moon. When we honor the thimbleberry, which produces an abundance of fruit once every 3 years. It is one of the first plants put on Mother Earth, and its purpose is to protect the sacred circle of life by allowing us to recognize and understand the teachings that come from the spirit world. I don't know if you see it because I'm definitely looking through Indigenous eyes, but when I read through this, everything is about observing, learning. You notice nowhere does it say sit down there and ask 25 questions. And I've commented on that previously, how that's a mainstream practice where we are taught to sit in the silence, sit under the tree, sit by the water, listen, learn. It's a peaceful way of learning as opposed to the education system for so many. The ninth new moon of 2025 arrives on August 23rd, and it is the corn moon, during which time we learn about the cycle of life. Each cob of corn has 13 rows of multicolored seeds, which represent all the spirits waiting to begin their earth walk. These will be the future generations for whom we must prepare. And there's another alluding to another very sacred teaching of the Anishinaabe, the 7 generations, that we must always look to the 7 generations that came before and think of the 7 generations next, which is why all of this right now in Northern Ontario, burying nuclear waste up here. Like my mind streams, like they tell us the containers last 150 years. What happens in 151 years? How are we taking care of the generations that are not yet born? Because, like, are we leaving an instruction manual how to fix this? Or how they can get down to those containers and stop it from destroying the water table? Because if the Indigenous get sick first, it's going to be a long time before Canada notices. That may sound harsh. That's Canadian history has proven. People don't tend to care when it's niche that are dying. Missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls comes to mind. The 10th new moon of 2025 arrives September 21st, and it is the falling leaves moon, a time when Mother Earth is honored with the grandest of colors. As all of creation makes their offerings to her, we come wow, I can't speak today, or I can't read. As all of creation makes their offerings to her, we become aware of all of the miracles of creation before us, and our spiritual energies are once again awakened. I don't want to know someone who could see the beautiful display of autumn colors and not be in awe. You would have to be very self-absorbed and self-centered not to just be blown away. And like I said, if I don't want to know those type of people. The 11th new moon of 2025 will be October 21st, and that is the freezing moon, a time when the star nation is closest to us. As every creature being prepares for the coming fasting grounds, we are reminded to prepare ourselves for a spiritual path by learning the sacred teachings and songs that will sustain us. Sitting around the fire and singing our songs and telling our stories is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Do I want another culture mimicking that or appropriating it? No, of course not. You don't have to use our drums to sit and share your stories, right? So you can appreciate the idea without stealing the cultural practices. On November 20th, the 12th of the new moons, arrives Little Spirit Moon, a time of healing. By receiving both vision of the spirits and good health, we may walk the red road with purest intentions. We can share this most positive energy with our families and friends for the good of all, which brings us to the 13th moon, which arrives on December 20th. And it is the blue moon, the big spirit moon. The 13th moon of creation is big spirit moon. Its purpose is to purify us and to heal all of creation, a process which may take a 3-month-long spiritual journey. During this time, we receive instructions on the healing powers of the universe and transform into our own version of that truth. Those are the 13 moons, and there are many, many Anishinaabe who have full moon ceremonies every month to honor the full moon, and we need to celebrate and welcome in the new moons once again. So, what did you think? Was that eye-opening? Personally, again, I love the interconnectedness of Anishinaabe teachings, how we are not separate from Mother Earth. We are part of Mother Earth, and with a gift comes responsibility, and we carry the responsibility to take care of Mother Earth. I'd be dying to hear what you thought. Have you heard of the 13 grandmother moons before? What did you think of that calendar? And if you're an Anishinaabe, is it something you follow? And by the way, just a related moment or a related comment. Women, Mother Earth, our mothers, we have our moon times each month. So again, that interconnectedness, which has been disrespected, decimated, near destroyed for some of us. The healing starts in the hand of the women, we are told. And I know my elder Josephine used to always say, what happens to Mother Earth is happening to our women. I'll let you think about that. Until tomorrow, I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.